Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I ran across this on Instagram, and I thought that this was really interesting. I'm trying to figure out the point of it. This is Shaunie Henderson, formerly Shaunie O'Neal, which is Shaq's ex-wife. She's now married to that pastor. The one I didn't get that at first. I knew that she was married, but I didn't get it that it was that particular pastor, the Keon Henderson or whatever. But in any case, she's now remarried to that pastor. So apparently she has written a book. And I guess this was said in an maybe promotion, or they found an excerpt of her book. And let's see, they said that it's an excerpt from the book that's currently circulating online. And it says, now in the book, Henderson candidly shares her thoughts on whether she ever truly loved Shaq. She reveals that upon reflection, she questions whether her love for him was genuine or if she was just more infatuated with the idea of being married to a successful, famous athlete. She writes, I don't know that I was ever really in love with the man, but I was in love with the idea of being married to the man I had a family with, Henderson says in her book. I was in love with the idea of building a life together. I truly did enjoy spending time with him. NBA road trips allowed me to be with my husband and experience the NBA life for a little while. And so once it was brought, I guess, to Shaq's attention, this is what he had to say. He said, I understand. I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Wishing you all the best. All love, Shaq. Now, for a long time now, Shaquille has been very candid about his view of how he treated Shaunie. He has been taking accountability for a long time about his mishandling of her and his family during that time. He's talked about how he was young and how he didn't really appreciate the woman that he had next to him, and basically he did a lot of things to fumble their marriage and to fumble that relationship. And so he has taken a lot of accountability for his role in the destruction of their relationship, and not being the type of man and the type of husband that he should have been. And so really you can't do more than that. A person can't really do more than take accountability for something, especially if it's something that they can't change. It's something that they can't undo. Whatever was done in a relationship by him was done. They've been divorced for many, many years now. Most, if not all, of their children are grown or almost grown. And Shaunie has moved on with her life with another man. Okay, it took her a long time to get remarried, but I think she got remarried to this man maybe within the past year or two. Maybe it might be maybe 3, but it hasn't been that long. Okay. Let me just do a real quick search. Let me see, how long has Shaunie been married to Keon? Okay, so they got married in 2022. Okay. All right. So, like I said, it hadn't been that long, 2 years or so. And so they have a life now. Meanwhile, between that, before she got married, Shaunie retained her O'Neal name for all that time that they had been divorced. And she built Basketball Wives, reality TV show. And she was the executive producer of that. still is, I do believe, and made a whole bag off of it. It set up a horrible legacy for Black women. But that aside, that is what she was, part of what she was doing professionally, okay, in order to keep the money coming. Throughout that time, Shaquille was still involved with his children and in their lives. They appeared to have an amicable co-parenting relationship. He would appear once or twice throughout the years on Basketball Wives. And, it seemed like their interaction was amicable, even friendly to a certain extent. I've never really heard him come out and say anything bad about her. Whenever she's mentioned, he always wishes her the best, things of that nature. He doesn't talk down on his ex-wife and the mother of his children. He doesn't expose her. Whatever her shortcomings were in the relationship, he doesn't expose them. He talks about him, and he doesn't talk about her. And that doesn't mean she wasn't doing anything. He's just taking accountability for his side of it. Okay. Now, here you come all these years later, after you've been married to a different man, after you and Shaquille O'Neal have been divorced forever, raised the children, all of that good stuff. Now you write a book. Now you've got a book out, I guess, telling about your life or whatever. And at some point in this book, you actually put pen to paper, or whatever, to put pen to paper to say that the man that you had, 7 kids with, she had a lot of kids with Shaquille. You may not have ever loved him. How many children does Shaunie have with Shaq? How many? Okay. So I think they have 4 together. I actually thought that they had more children together. Okay. Okay. Says he's a proud father of 6. O'Neal and his ex-wife Shaunie share 4 children, who are Sharif, Shakir, Amira, and Miara. Okay. He also has stepson Miles. Okay. So that was Shaunie's child, and a daughter, Tahira, with a former girlfriend. Okay. So Shaunie had a child prior to Shaq, and then he had a kid. I don't know if that was during the marriage or not. Okay. So they have children together, which we knew. They share 4. He took in a child of hers that she had previously. So altogether, they raised 6 children. So you had 4 kids with a man that you were unclear whether or not you actually loved the man. Why am I talking about this? Not because it's Shaunie and Shaq, but because this is the type of stuff that women do, and this is why men are now so skeptical of marriages, especially men who have some type of success, financially, career-wise, things of that nature. And a woman will be with this man for years, have children with this man, live in a house with this man, spend this man's money, have this man's name. Because you can't tell me that the retaining of the O'Neal name did not allow her certain networking and connections. You can't tell me that Shaquille did not help her with certain networking, certain connections that he's made, things of that nature. You can't tell me that he wasn't still being of some benefit to her, even after the divorce and the marriage had dissolved. Still benefiting from that man, still benefiting from his name, until she had to change the name out of respect for her now current husband. Because, like, really, how dare you keep an O'Neill name, right? But at the same time, prior to that marriage, the current marriage, she still maintained benefiting from Shaquille in some way, shape, or form. Now you done released the book talking about you may not have ever loved that man, and that you was pretty much just in love with the idea of him. Like, you was in love with the idea of, because when they was together, man, Shaq was the man. Okay, he was the man. You couldn't tell nobody nothing about Shaq. Okay, mega superstar basketball player. Okay, one of the last great big men in basketball, right? Legendary big man in basketball. When I say big man, I'm talking about a center. And played alongside Kobe. Okay. So just a legendary player all the way around. Money hand over fist. And you know that comes with a lifestyle. Shaq did things big. Okay. No pun intended. Like, big home, big everything, but buy up everything. We can tell that that's what he was doing just by the mindset that he speak with now. He going to put all his money on the table for his wife and his kids and stuff like that. Like, he going to pay for them. They not going to want for nothing financially at all. And even if they want for his presence, they're not going to want for his money or the result of the sweat of his brow. Okay. And he wasn't even one of them guys that went broke after. Like, he maintained the bag, being a sportscaster and being in media, commercials, endorsements, all kinds of things. So Shaquille has kept himself making money even after he retired from the NBA. And you got the audacity, after this man been taking accountability for years. And it's, in my opinion, this is like a slap in the face. And it speaks to the mindset of these women. Y'all don't be loving these men. Y'all don't be loving these men. Y'all don't love these men. Y'all get into relationships. You want a man that make this and that's doing that and it's got this kind of status and then that got that kind of status or whatever. And then you whine and complain later about how you were treated or how he didn't have time for you or how it was too many women around or how, how kind of lonely it was because he didn't really have a whole lot of time to be at the house. And I don't know what y'all chicks be wanting. Y'all want to get the guy because he got status, and you want to be able to tell your girlfriends, yeah, that's my man. My man is such and such. You know what I'm saying? My man is Shaquille O'Neal, big time NBA player. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to, I bet she loved being able to say that when it was convenient. Say that when, you know what I'm saying, when it suited her, when it looked good to say that. And then was probably mad that he was on the road all the time. Mad that he's gone. Mad that he's got, even when he's not playing basketball, even when it's the off season, he's got endorsements and he's got things to fulfill professionally. He's got engagements to attend. He's got this and that to do. And so he can't come home and change diapers on the schedule you think he can. He can't, he's not there enough And what a lot of these women don't really understand is that when you get a man, and he don't got to be an NBA player, he don't have to be an athlete, he doesn't have to be famous, he doesn't have to be a media star, he doesn't have to be an entertainer, he doesn't have to be that. But if you want a man that's gonna make money like that, enough money to provide you a particular kind of lifestyle, even if it's not tens of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, those men are not available for a lot of time. So you're not going to get the quantity of time that even you would get from a hardworking 9 to 5 guy. Because if he's a hardworking 9 to 5 guy, you know, he gets off work at a particular time. There's a time that he's there and a time he's not there. And so you're able to more so set a particular schedule and things of that nature with a man who's clocking, you know, a 9 to 5 and things of that nature. But when you have a dude whose job is not tied to a particular time period in the day, that means he busy all the time. This is what I'm saying. Some men, the nature of what they do and how they do it and how successful they're going to be at it means they don't have clocks. They don't have clocks. So you may not get the quantity of time with these men. So what you have to do is you have to make the time quality. You have to have quality time with them, because the amount of time that you get is going to be relatively small. And so instead of being angry with them during the time that they do a lot to you, they allot you time, that time has to be pleasant. Has to be pleasant, because you're going to have to address important things that's going on in your household, in your relationship, and things like that. You're going to have to address those things, but it doesn't necessarily have to be contentious or anxious, right? It doesn't have to be a negative thing. But you still have to make sure that the time that you're getting with them, even if you have to discuss serious matters, that it's not an unpleasant exchange, that it's an amicable exchange. It's something he can deal with, right? And not begin to feel away. So arguing with him about the time he can't give you is not gonna work. Yes, he gave you more time when you were courting. That's because he was courting you. But the reality of him, and a lot of times these guys will say it, I'm giving you time right now because I have to build the connection with you. Like, I gotta do it. But it's not going to be like this all the time. I'm not going to be able to cupcake with you for hours like this. My husband told me that. My husband told me that. He's one of those men that don't have clocks. He doesn't have a clock. So when we were recording, we was, you know, on video call. We were calling each other a lot. Like, it was a lot. But he also told me, like, this is happening because we're courting. I'm courting you. So that therefore I have to have more contact with you. But the reality is that once we're together, I'm not going to be able to have this much time with you. Like, I'm taking time out of other stuff to do this because the connection has to be built. But at the same time, once we're in it, I'm going to give you time. Like, I'm not going to ignore you or nothing like that. Like, it ain't going to be crazy. But all of this is that's not going to be, no. I'm not going to be able to do that. And I had to understand that. But there was never a question of whether or not I love him. And then having 4 kids and being with this man like this is wild. Talking about you don't know. How you have 4 kids with a man and you don't know if you really like him or not, or just what he represents. And this is how y'all be moving. And this is why men are so leery now about marriage and committing and getting into and getting involved, you know, lifelong with you, because you don't even really, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't even really feeling them. Like, you going through the motions. And you going through the motions for a bag. You going through the motions for a lifestyle. You going through the motions so you could say, yeah, I'm his wife. That's my husband. You going through the motions, you know what I'm saying, to be able to be on the yacht. You going through the motions to be able to move in them certain circles. You going through the motions to be able to, you know what I'm saying, secure the bag, whether you with this man or not with this man. You going through this motion to be able to experience a lifestyle that otherwise you may not have been able to provide yourself. Because make no mistake, basketball wives doesn't exist as a concept for her without having been married to Shaq. Do we understand? That's not even a concept in her head. The only reason that was a concept in her head is because at one point she was a basketball wife and she was able to move in them circles and see those women and meet those women. If she had never been married to a basketball player, let alone Shaquille O'Neal, that wouldn't have been her reality. Don't nobody want to see a show called Plumbers Wives. Don't nobody want to see a show called Construction Workers Wives. Don't nobody want to see no show called Electricians Wives. See what I'm saying? Because it ain't sexy. It ain't, you know, it's not enticing. It's not, you know, provocative. It's not glamorous looking. It's not shiny. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.